Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. My dear brothers and sisters, welcome home, welcome to your family. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says in the hadith, خيركم خيركم لأهله وأنا خيركم لأهله. He says sallallahu alaihi wasallam that the best among you all is the best to his family. And he said, and I am the best to my family. Look, in Ramadan, people, they always want to be nice to their neighbors, nice to their fellow, community members and at work and with everybody. Unfortunately, we overlook the importance of our family in our life, particularly in terms of priority. And when I say family, I'm talking about your spouse, talking about your children, talking about your parents, and talking about your siblings. Salatul Rahim as well too is very, very important. Many people in Ramadan, they focus on the social aspect of their life, again, that overwhelm their families with duties and social tasks that no one enjoys Ramadan. You want to enjoy Ramadan, you want to make it really, really a wholesome experience, make sure that you bring your family back, inshallah ta'ala, to focus and make sure to make them a priority in your life in this month of Ramadan. Because again, without them, without their support, you're not going to enjoy this month of Ramadan. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was the best to his spouses, he was the best to the children, salawatullahi wa salam. Let's see that from his life, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So when it comes to his spouse, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was gentle, he was kind to all of them. He cared about quality time. Aisha radiallahu ta'ala, she said that when he travels with them, salawatullahi wa salam alayhi, he always cares. You know, the travel back then was boring. Then the back of the camel for days and nights, and the scenery doesn't change easily. It just is very slow pace. So the Prophet ﷺ was very considerate. Every now and then he comes back again to where the ladies are, and he starts talking to his wife, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, chit-chatting with her. Sometimes he would be walking, and Aisha radiallahu anha, she said that we walk in the desert, like taking a nice, beautiful, walk together, enjoying a conversation with each other. A quality time, just a few minutes, would make a big difference in the life of our families, inshallah tabaraka wa ta'ala. With the children, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he always cared for them, and specifically his grandchildren, Hassan and Al-Hussein. Every time the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is missing, actually, from the community, people, they would say, where could Rasulullah, where would he be? And everybody would say, check the house of Fatima, his daughter, because he must be there playing with the Hassan and Al-Hussein. And indeed, one of those moments, Umar bin Khattab radiallahu ta'ala, he came by looking for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he saw the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam on four, which means on his knees and his hands, and he was playing horsey with Al-Hassan al-Hussein, who was riding on his back. And Umar was amused by that sight, and he was joking with Al-Hassan al-Hussein with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he says, قال نعم الركوب ركوبكما, nice ride you guys have down there, mashallah. To which the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam responded with a smile, and he goes, and they're the best night to ride ever. He said, Ya Rasulullah, we need you for something important. So the Prophet, he puts the kids down, and he goes to care about the matters of the ummah and the community. But that did not stop him from caring for his family, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. His daughter Fatima, every time his daughter Fatima radiallahu anha comes over to visit, he would be the first to greet her. Even he would stand up for her, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he was seen kissing her on her forehead, radiallahu ta'ala anha wa ardaha, always welcoming his family, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Khadija radiallahu ta'ala anha, even in the very beginning of his mission as a messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he came down from the mountain of An-Nur and Ghar Hira, the cave of Hira, terrified and scared from the encounter he had with Jibreel alayhi salam, then she calmed him down. And when he did, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he started telling her what he saw in that encounter with Jibreel, radiallahu anhu, she gave him a brilliant answer. He goes, no. Kalla wallahi la yukhzika Allahu abada. Allah will never disgrace you. Allah will never disgrace you. Which means Allah will never put someone like you down. Why? Because, and she mentioned 5 qualities. The first thing she said about him, قَدْ إِنَّكَ لَتَصِلُ الرَّحِمِ. You always maintain the ties of kinship. That's the most important thing. No matter who they are, no matter how hard and difficult they were to you, you always maintain the tie of kinship. And that's what the Prophet ﷺ did to us. Taught us how to be always kind to your family, no matter how hard and difficult they can be to you. Some of us might say, but Sheikh, sometimes going to my family, it's hard, it's difficult. They really drain my energy, my iman, and put me in a very difficult situation. What do I do in this case? Well, the Prophet ﷺ was asked the exact same question. A man came to him, which was reported by Imam al-Bukhari in Adab al-Mufrad. He says, قال يا رسول الله إن لي قرابة. I have some relatives. I connect with them. أصلهم ويقطعونني. I always try to maintain the ties of kinship with them. They keep cutting me off. وأحسن إليهم ويسيئون إلي. I'm trying to be kind to them, and they always be, unfortunately, they reciprocate this with bad behavior towards me. As if he was asking the Prophet ﷺ, do I have the permission right now to cut them off? Am I done with them? That's what he was trying to ask. And the Prophet ﷺ said to him, قال لَإِنْ كَانَ حَقًّا مَا تَقُولُ. If it's true what you're saying about what you're doing and what they're doing to you, فَكَأَنَّكَ تَسُفُّهُمُ الْمَلْ. As if you're rubbing ashes in their faces, basically. Which means, you're doing the right thing. And he says to him, قال صلى الله عليه وسلم, keep doing it. As long as you do that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will assign an angel for you to defend you and make dua for you. Now, obviously, when things get really, really dangerous and it becomes difficult to the extent that my iman is being affected, my sanity is being affected, in this case, yes, you need to reduce the interaction, but always maintain a healthy boundaries and healthy ties with your kinship, inshallah tabaraka wa ta'ala. And at the end of the day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned many stories of the Anbiya dealing with their difficult relatives. Ibrahim alayhi salam with his difficult father. Nuh alayhi salam with his son and his wife, and many others. Why is that? Imagine Yusuf alayhi salam almost was killed by his own siblings. All these examples were mentioned in the Quran. Why? Because it teaches us a lesson. Your biggest challenge, your biggest trial is going to be from the one whom you love the most. You love the people the most, you love these people the most, your biggest challenge and trial is going to come from that direction. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase the love and mercy between us and our relatives, Ya Rabbil Alameen. But remember, family is home, so make sure not to overwhelm them in Ramadan with so many tasks. They also need to enjoy Ramadan, inshallah tabaraka wa ta'ala. Spend some quality time with them, especially before iftar. Instead of getting busy, the last minute things to do in the kitchen, it's better for us to be sitting together, making dua, adhkar, remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Make this Ramadan very meaningful to you and your family, inshallah tabaraka wa ta'ala. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.